Welcome, leaders, teams, and those ready to take charge of their energy. It's Kelly Buboltz, your guide in workforce energy management. Burnout is not just a buzzword, it's a symptom of deeper root cause stressors. We're here to stop waiting for the change and start leading it. It's time to reclaim our energy and lead our days with intention and purpose. When we talk about workforce energy management, what we're talking about is managing that energy, managing it so you can actually show up with it. And an important factor in energy management is understanding what is your work style so that you know what you need, because maybe what works for me doesn't work for you and doesn't work for that person. So understanding our DISC work style is going to help you really hone in on your energy management. Let's go through the 4 briefly so you can understand not only your work style a little bit more, but how you can manage that energy. Let's begin with D. D's are dominance or our reds. These are very fast-paced people. They're very result-orientated. They want to hit the goal. So when they're managing their energy, they actually need to learn to slow down. And that can be difficult for this type of personality, this type of work style, because it wants to move, it wants to get the result, and it wants it fast. So what you're going to do as a high D type of work style is create milestones to the goal. So you're still getting that satisfaction, that dopamine hit of hitting result. It's just at a smaller scale than the overall goal that you're going to. So for example, say you want to do a new habit. You want to run a half marathon by the end of the year. Well, you're going to have to do some things to get there. You're going to have to train, and then you expand on that, and then you train further, and then you expand on that. So milestones that you want to hit is maybe the 5-mile marker, and then the 10-mile marker, and then go on from there. So you're training up to it, but you're celebrating those milestones because you hit the result. In the workplace, what energy management might look like or feel like is, say you have a sales goal to hit by the end of the quarter. What are you doing every month to hit that mark? What are you doing every week to hit that mark? Again, you're managing the energy within your control within a smaller time frame, and it doesn't seem so exhausting. It doesn't seem like you're losing the whole way because you are results orientated. The other thing that high Ds don't like to do, because they like to move fast and they like to do it their way, is delegation. So that means you might be carrying some workload that doesn't belong to you. And that over responsibility is making someone under responsible. So we want to shift that energy so you're not carrying it all. And you'll see in each work style that I go through that we're carrying a little bit more than we should. So delegation goes down to trust. Goes down to the communication between you and that other person or that team. It goes down to those micro coach moments where you know it's getting derailed or delayed or we're getting behind, and doing some micro coaching moments versus bursting into complete conflict in a meeting when we don't hit the final result. So again, you're kind of breaking it down to smaller successes, smaller wins, smaller reroutes, smaller coaching moments so that you are hitting those milestones. And that's a way to manage your energy when you just want to sprint. You're breaking it up to smaller sprints. Now, let's move on to our next one. D, dominance reds. They like to move fast. So how they're going to manage their energy is breaking it down to smaller increments. I's, on the other hand, well, there are social bunnies. They love to interact with others. They enjoy shiny objects and distractions. So their energy management is in focusing. I'm an I, and let me tell you, every day I have to reprioritize and refocus because I see a shiny object. I see something else that I want to do. So reprioritizing daily is going to help you manage your energy because you're going to identify maybe 2 or 3 things that you want to do today and where you're going to really bring value. And all the rest, if you get to it, great, but you don't have to do it. And that focus brings so much clarity and just relief to your day that you don't have to do it all because you've been taking it on, saying yes to everything. Now, once you focus by prioritizing by where you bring value, the other thing that you want to manage is socialization. So high I's like to socialize. They like to be around people. And because of that, they're always reading behaviors because they're very good at it. But that can get exhausting, right? You're in a meeting and you not only have your job to do, but also you're watching people's facial expressions. You're watching their body language change, and suddenly you own that. It's almost like an in-path load that you took on based on their responses. You don't own that. So managing a social balance is going to be important in your energy management plan. Are you taking time alone? And yes, that can be yucky. But if you want to manage your energy and show up with it, you're going to have to take some of that isolation time to recharge, which means you're not taking on all that empathic load of everyone else's body language and behaviors. So we reprioritize for focus where we bring value. We're doing some social balance. So we're not always up and about and socializing. We're also taking some time isolating for ourselves so we can show up with energy in front of people. We're going to create some boundaries. Because you like shiny objects and distractions and new things, you don't have probably really good boundaries. You're the yes person. And what that means is when someone volunteers you or no one's volunteering, you'll say yes. You'll say yes because it might be exciting, because it might be new, because why not? Why not try it out? And because of that, your boundaries are getting muddy and you're just adding things to your to-do list. Your energy is going to start draining because you're causing your own overwhelm. So what boundaries will you set? Yes, you want to help people. And yes, you want to be valued skill set. But you can't be either of those if your plate is overfull, if your hands are in every pot within your organization. So if you are prioritizing and showing your value, if you're managing that social balance, creating boundaries will be much easier to not only establish, but maintain. Now let's scoot over to our other yes person, and that's our S's. S's are our supporters, our greens, and it's exactly what the name says. They are your supportive background team members that maybe won't be at the front lines like D's, driving the results, crucial foundation in order to actually get that result. They're seeing the gaps. They're seeing the things that we need to address before we can move on in our processes. They're the background people that are always there to step in when you need them the most. Which, similar to I's, if you're saying yes to everything, what are you saying no to? You won't actually be able to support people, support your team, support your family, support your friends if you're saying yes to everything. And really deep down in the S work style, where that comes from is conflict avoidance. So instead of saying no and possibly igniting some conflict, they'll say yes. But then after they say yes, they have that feeling of regret. Like, I don't really want to do that. But also conflict seems worse than actually doing it. So I'll just do it. And they carry this pack. Now, the other thing that's going to start happening is that resentment's going to start building up and weighing down every day that you talk to someone, every time that you say yes. So supporters are also going to have to manage what they say yes to because they're saying no to something else. But also, they're going to have to get comfortable with some conflict. And I think a core part of moving from tough talks to healthy conflict is what type of conversations you're having. So when you reframe that from conflict, right, that seems like a harsh word, into a genuine conversation, the defenses go down a little bit. I want to have a genuine conversation with you about my workload. I keep saying yes, so I'm going to need your support in helping me to say no. Hey, it's important for me to support my team. At this time, I can't really take that on. These are genuine conversations that come from trust and open-ended questions and curiosity that we don't have to be defensive and raise the conflict bar. So supporters are going to have to get comfortable with conflict. Go check out some of my other videos, podcasts, and material out here on how we can move from those tough talks to that healthy conflict, those genuine conversations. And in each tool and each prep mark, you'll slowly move from that uncomfortable place to comfortable, casual conversations. Now, the last work style that I want to talk about is C's. This is our compliance, and these are our data-detailed people. So what they're going to do to move forward is understand what they need to move forward. So when you talk about energy management, they can be sitting in meetings, not getting the answers, and then they leave the meeting and they're stressed. They don't know what to do next. And they're just kind of stewing in all the information from the meetings because there wasn't enough data and details for them to move forward. So C's are going to really need to understand what is the information you need to move forward, because then you remove the energy drain and you energize a way forward. That type of clarity calls you forward. So C's, knowing that they need data and details, need to figure out what data and details they need from that meeting, from that person, from the next steps that we're going to take. The other energy drainer that you might want to be managing is perfection. So C's, because they're data and detailed, will dig and dig and dig. When is the dig good enough? What does success look like to you? And that's your stop point. Sometimes when we begin projects or a new hobby or a habit, we don't know what success looks like. And so we keep going and we keep going. And there's a healthy way to do that. And then there's an obsessive, compulsive, perfectionist way to do it, which is a huge energy drainer. So when you're managing your energy, not only what do you need to move forward, what's the next steps so that you're not draining your energy, but also what does success look like so that you know, boom, we need to stop at this point and I can move on with other tasks, other functions, or I'm just happy with my hobby. If you notice through the 4 work styles, D's and I's, our dominance and our influence, are fast paced. So their energy management is going to be in slowing down. And our S and our C's are a little bit more conflict avoidance, steady, and methodical. So their energy management plan is going to be in addressing that conflict and getting clarity on the information and details to make them more comfortable in moving forward. Workforce energy management isn't about doing more. It's about doing it differently, showing up differently for yourself and for your team. Today's step matters. It's in the micro moments that real change begins. Managing your energy isn't about shame, blame, or disrupting your lifestyle. It's about the small, intentional choices to reclaim that natural energy. If this episode hit the mark for you, share with others. This journey doesn't have to be lost and lonely, but exciting and full of new paths. See you back here to continue the adventure.